Chapter 13, verse 1. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. 13 footnotes, 13:1 footnotes. Up, Palestine, an ascent from Egypt. South, Hebrew, the Negeb, south of Judea, north from Egypt. Compare 11:9. Verse 2. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. Up here, silver and in gold, scarce in Palestine, but plentiful in Egypt. Verse 3. And he went on his journeys from the south, even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai. Footnotes. Tent shows him a stranger. At the beginning, very significant, no altar for Abram in Egypt. Between Bethel and Hai, probably Ebal or Gerizim. See note on 12:8. Verse 4. Unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first, and there Abram called on the name of the Lord. For altar shows him to be a worshipper. At the first, no worship in Egypt. See note in verse 3. Verse 5. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. Tents figure metonymy of subject, tents put for the dwellers therein. Six. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. Footnote on them. Those two, for signification of the number 2, see Appendix 10. Verse 7. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. A lot of footnotes on 7. Strife, the first step in Lot's downward course. Note Lot's 6 downward steps. Verse 7, strife. Verse 10, beheld. Verse 11, chose. Verse 12, pitched towards. Chapter 14:12, dwelt in. 19:1, sat in its gate, and as a ruler and citizen. See Appendix 10. Canaanite and Perizzite. See on 12:6. These were the Nephilim. See Appendix 23 and 25. Dwelled, Hebrew word dwelling. Then already, see note on 12:6, in the land, occupying it in advance and spreading later to the giant cities of Bashan. Chapter 8. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Brethren, put by synecdoche of species for relatives. Verse 9. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right, or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. Is not the whole land, etc. Figure erotesis, see Appendix 6. There's another one here. Thou wilt take, figure complex ellipsis, see Appendix 6. Verse 10. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zor. That was the end part right there. Verse 10, footnotes. Well watered, great contrast with Palestine after the famine, and likeness to the fertility of Egypt. The Lord, Hebrew Jehovah, see Appendix 4. Sodom, flaming, burning. Gomorrah, people of fear, already mixed up in the sins of the Nephilim. Verse 11. Then Lot chose him all the plain of the Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves, the one from the other. Chose. Lot lifted up his own eyes, verse 10, and made his own choice. Compare Abram with verse 14. 12. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. 12 cities. One of the cities figures synecdoche of the whole. See Appendix 6, or among the cities. Compare verse 18. Toward Sodom, see note on verse 7. 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. 13 footnotes. A parenthetical statement to show the nature of Lot's choice. Figure parentheses. See Appendix 6. Wicked and sinners equals very wicked sinners. Figure hendiadis. See Appendix 6 and Appendix 44, 8, and 13. 14. And the Lord said unto Abram after that Lot was separated from him, Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. Lift up God chose for Abraham, strictly topographical. See note on verse 11. Note. Note Abraham's 4 looks. 13:4 at the earth, 15:5 at heaven, 18:2 Jehovah, 22:13 a substitute. 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed forever. To thee, repeated to Isaac, 26:3, and to Jacob, 28:13 and 35:12. See note on 50:24. Forever, hence Israel is the everlasting nation. Isaiah 44:7, to thee ensures resurrection. 16. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then thy seed also be numbered. Dust, figure paromia, Appendix 6. In chapter 15:5, as the stars, marking the two parties in Israel, the earthly and heavenly. Hebrews 11:9 through 16. Partakers of the heavenly calling, Hebrews 3:1. Verse 17. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it to thee. See note on 50:24. 18. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Footnotes. Plain. Among the oaks belonging to Mamre, brother of Eshcol and Ener. 14:13. Hebron. A later name used here. See notes on 23:2 and Numbers 13:22.